She was just a regular cop. Until she pulled over a Senate candidate. He offered money. She said no. He called her boss. She called dispatch. He threatened to destroy her career. She stayed silent, then sent an email. 3 days later, he was in handcuffs, live on international television. And her? She just sat quietly, sipping coffee, like she was never famous at all. Her name was Jasmine Reed, 25 years old, a black female cop in a department run mostly by white men. Savannah, Georgia, where the June sun could burn more than your skin. It could burn your pride too, if you let it. Jasmine didn't smile much. She wore her uniform like armor. Not because she felt powerful, but because she knew she was always a target. One wrong move and they won't protect me. They never protect people like me. Her father was a cop too. He once exposed a fellow officer for beating a suspect. The result? Fired, disgraced, frozen out by the entire force. Dad didn't lie, he just told the truth, and they destroyed him for it. She'd promised herself she wouldn't be a silent shadow like the others. But she also knew silence was safer. Then it happened. A black sedan roared past, too fast, too smooth, too arrogant. Speed radar lit up, 80 miles per hour. Residential zone, limit 45. No hesitation. Lights on, siren blaring. She spun the wheel and followed, locked in. Either drunk, or he thinks he owns the road. The car slowed, pulled over. Jasmine stepped out, eyes sharp, hand near her holster, not out of fear, out of habit. She tapped on the tinted window. Knock, knock. The glass lowered slowly. Cool air spilled out, laced with expensive cologne. Behind the wheel sat a man, gray-streaked hair, clean suit, perfect posture, smiling like he was still on camera. Good afternoon, officer. Jasmine didn't blink. You were speeding. I need to see your license and registration. He chuckled, like this was just a friendly misunderstanding. Oh, I'm Richard Collier. You might have seen me on the news. I'm running for state senate. I've got a campaign meeting just a few blocks away. I was running late. He smiled wider, confident, charming. Jasmine stared back. License, registration. He handed over the ID. She looked at it, then raised her eyes again. Expired 2 months ago. Your license is invalid. This vehicle will be impounded. The smile faltered for half a second. Then he shifted gears. He reached into the center console, pulled out a sleek, glossy business card, held it out, not like a gesture of respect, but like bait. Take this. Call me anytime. You're young, smart. You shouldn't be wasting your talent behind a patrol wheel. One call from me, MFA, and your file jumps straight to City Hall. Jasmine didn't touch the card, didn't move. She stared at it like it was trash on the street. I don't need a promotion. I need you to follow the law. The air changed. His charm peeled back. What remained was sharp, cold. Reed, right? Jasmine Reed. I remember names. His voice dipped. I just had dinner with Chief Hayes last week. Mayor Wallace, he backed my first campaign. Are you really sure you want to go down this road? Jasmine's expression didn't change. Her thumb brushed her shoulder radio. Unit 147 requesting backup. Possible political interference and traffic stop. Collier exhaled sharply, then smirked. He pulled out his phone. Caller ID, W. Hayes. You want trouble, Officer Reed? Fine, you'll get it. Minutes later, sirens, again, another cruiser arrived. Out stepped Lieutenant Samuel Barnes. Tall, stone-faced, years of command in every footstep. Jasmine didn't even turn to look. She already knew who it was. Collier lit up. Lieutenant Barnes, finally, someone reasonable. This officer's being a bit too by the book. Barnes didn't shake his hand, didn't smile. What's going on, Reed? Jasmine explained, clear, calm, professional. Expired license, invalid registration. VIN doesn't match the documents. Grounds for impoundment. Collier's face darkened. You're seriously towing my car over a clerical issue? I've already called Chief Hayes. One press conference, and she's out of the job. Jasmine didn't flinch. I'm just doing my job, sir. Collier glared at Barnes. You're really going to let this happen? Barnes looked at him. You can file a complaint, but no one, including a Senate candidate, is above the law. Collier didn't respond, but his eyes, they weren't just angry now. They were calculating. And Jasmine knew. She hadn't just pulled over a speeding car. She had pulled the pin on something much bigger. He offered me power. I gave him law. Now the war begins. 24 hours after pulling over Collier, on TV, no mention of the expired license. In the papers, No mention of the forged VIN. Online, not a single voice praised her for doing her job. Young officer harasses Senate candidate. Reed chasing clout through politics. Ambition disguised in a badge. The media tore her apart. Fake news, cropped videos, sensational headlines. Nobody fact-checked. Nobody defended her. Social media, crueler. She just wants to go viral. Another one playing the victim card. Fire her before she fires her weapon. Jasmine sat in silence, her apartment dim, her phone glowing. She read every comment, every insult, every lie. Then she turned the screen off. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from something inside her that had cracked and hardened. I did everything right, and the world treats me like I'm the problem. Then came the messages, anonymous. You better leave town while you still can. You're poking a nest of vipers. Want to die young, hero? She blocked the numbers. More showed up. 2:07 a.m. Her phone buzzed. No caller ID. Just one cold, sharp ring. She answered. Hello? A man's voice. Deep, dry, no emotion. You think you can win against Collier? Long silence. You've got 7 days to get out of this city. Click. No shouting. No insults. Just a sentence. Like a verdict from the shadows. Next morning, Jasmine walked into the precinct like nothing happened, but everything had changed. Cold, suffocating, thick with judgment. A group of officers laughed near the coffee machine. Look who's here, Reed, the department's new YouTube influencer. Oh wait, is that Senator Reed? Should we salute her? Someone pulled up a meme on their phone. Caption, wants justice, settles for clout. They all laughed. Down the hall, Sergeant Marquez, once her training partner, walked past. He glanced at her, just long enough to whisper, You're not a cop, Jasmine. You're just a hashtag waiting to trend. She stepped into the office of Chief Hayes. 2 senior officers flanked him, stone-faced. Hayes didn't offer a greeting. After review, you are suspended indefinitely. Reason? Conduct detrimental to the department's public image. Jasmine clenched her fists. She kept her voice steady, but her eyes had turned to steel. I followed every protocol, every step by the book. Is that a crime now? Hayes spoke like writing a weather report. Reed, this isn't about what's right or wrong. It's about who controls the narrative. And Collier owns the damn newsroom. She looked at the 2 officers beside him. Neither could meet her eyes. Cowards. She took off her badge, laid it on the desk. Firm, cold, final. You can take the badge, but you don't get to take what matters. As she walked out, she passed the bulletin board in the hallway. A team photo, one she was once proud to be in, now had a red X slashed across her face. Someone had scribbled in marker. Drama queen. She didn't cry, not a word. But deep inside, something was igniting. Not fear, not shame. Clarity. They laughed. They mocked. They turned their backs. They think I'll go quietly. They've chosen the wrong woman. I don't need a badge to do what's right. I have something they fear more than a gun. Truth, that night, Jasmine sat alone in her small apartment, yellow light casting shadows across the wooden table. Beside her, a half-closed laptop, an unread suspension notice, and a phone resting silently. She thought the silence meant it was over. She was wrong. Ring. No name, no number, no caller ID, just a cold, empty signal cutting through the night. She answered, voice hoarse. Hello? A man's voice, low, steady, dangerously calm. I know you're in trouble because of Collier. Jasmine sat upright. Her hand tightened around the phone. Who are you? The voice didn't change. Someone who used to work for him. Someone who knows all the secrets he's buried. Pause. I'm not calling to threaten. I'm calling to give you something he never wanted anyone to see. Jasmine stayed silent, but her pulse spiked. Why now? The man gave a short laugh, dry bitter like ash. Because I used to believe he was untouchable. Now I know he's a disease. His tone dropped lower. 2 a.m., parking lot behind the city library. Come alone. No weapons, no backup. Jasmine narrowed her eyes. How do I know this isn't a trap? Still calm, the man replied. You don't. But if you don't show up, you'll never have what you need to take him down. Click, the line went dead. No trace, no way to call back. Only silence, and a decision with no safe answer. 1:45 a.m. Savannah was dead quiet. Jasmine wasn't sleeping. She wore a gray hoodie, hood pulled low, hands tucked into her pockets. Inside, her personal firearm, fully loaded. Not for attack, but because she didn't plan to die easy. 2:00 a.m., the parking lot behind the city library. No lights, no cameras, no witnesses. Only wind, and the feeling that she was stepping straight into a trap. She moved slowly, her boots echoing between rows of abandoned cars. 203. From the shadows between two dusty vehicles, a man stepped out. Tall, lean, black coat, hood up, face hidden, only his eyes, sharp, alert, cold like steel. Not the eyes of a stranger. The eyes of someone who survived by trusting no one. You came alone? Jasmine didn't slow. Want to check? He gave a small laugh, dry, not amused, just satisfied. He reached into his coat and pulled something out. A silver USB drive, no bigger than a thumb. But the metallic surface caught the light like a blade. Everything you need is in here. Jasmine didn't reach for it. I don't trust people who used to serve monsters like Collier. The man nodded slowly. Good, you shouldn't. Then prove you want the truth. Drop the gun. Jasmine narrowed her eyes. You're serious? Dead serious. I don't hand this to anyone still holding a weapon. You want the evidence? Come unarmed. She hesitated. 1 second, 2. Then she reached into her coat, pulled the gun out, and placed it on the ground. No flinch, no fear. Now give it to me. He nodded, took a step forward and extended the USB drive. Jasmine took it, and the moment her fingers touched it, she knew this wasn't just a file, this was a weapon. What's inside? His voice dropped, heavy, quiet, like a confession. Offshore accounts, fake charities used for laundering money. Video of Collier shaking hands with the governor, next to an open briefcase full of cash. A list of people who worked for him. More than half are dead from accidents. Jasmine held her breath. What else? His eyes darkened. For the first time, there was something in them. Regret. Children. Human trafficking. Routes through Mexico, Dubai, Europe. Disguised as humanitarian aid, documents, maps, photos, names. Everything hidden under a nonprofit called RC Children's Future. Jasmine gripped the USB tighter. Small, light. But now, it felt like a live bomb. Why are you helping me? He didn't look at her. He looked past her, into the mist. Because I used to believe in him. I thought power made him untouchable. Now I know he's a virus. And if you don't expose this, no one ever will. She said nothing. The wind slipped into her hoodie. Rain began to fall, cold and sharp. The man turned to leave. But before vanishing behind the parked cars, he stopped. Didn't look at her. He looked up, toward the top of a building across the street. You're holding it now, and there's no way back. They've killed for less. One email was enough to end a life. Now you're officially on their list. Then he disappeared. No footsteps, no trace. Jasmine stood alone in the rain, the USB in her hand, silver, wet, cold, small, but capable of burning down a kingdom. She looked up, top floor, across the street. A shadow, a flicker of red. Someone stood in the dark, watching her. A cigarette ember glowing once, then gone. They had seen everything. 2:18 a.m. Jasmine walked away from the parking lot, down a narrow alley behind the library. Her hand gripped the silver USB in her coat pocket. Her eyes flicked toward the building where that red ember had disappeared seconds earlier. She knew someone was watching and maybe tracking. She turned into a side path. Wet concrete, cold air slicing through the pipes above. Rain tapped gently on metal. Then a voice echoed from the dark. Don't be stupid. Hand over the USB or this will be your last walk. She froze. 2 masked men stepped out from opposite sides. One held a knife. The other a pistol aimed straight at her. We've been following you since you left home. Jasmine slowly reached into her coat, as if retrieving the drive. You want this? Then you'll have to kill me first. Bang! The gunman fired. Jasmine dropped to the side, rolled on the ground, pulled her weapon, and returned fire. Crack! One shot hit the man with the knife. He screamed and collapsed. The other one cursed and opened fire blindly. Jasmine ducked behind a rusted trash bin. One bullet grazed her arm. Blood soaked her sleeve. Far ahead, an old delivery truck. She aimed. Boom! A tire exploded, echoing across the alley, startling her attacker. Jasmine rolled out, fired 3 clean shots. Crack, crack, crack. 2 found their target. The last man dropped, bleeding, defeated. Headlights cut through the alley. A cruiser skidded to a halt. Siren off, doors slammed. Sergeant Banner stepped out, gun drawn, eyes sharp. Reed, are you hit? She pushed herself up, breathing heavily. Nothing I can't survive. Banner rushed to her. What the hell are you doing out here alone? Carrying something some people would rather bury. And tonight I got a reminder. They're willing to kill to keep it quiet. He glanced down, caught a flash of silver in her bloodied hand. That it? She nodded. I need to open it. Now. Raised to an old internet cafe near the edge of an industrial zone. Dusty keyboards, flickering screens, one ancient PC still working. Jasmine plugged in the USB. No password, no encryption. Just a single folder RC files. She double-clicked. Folders appeared. The belt. Laundering money through fake charities. Transformation. Excel sheets of bribes, names, amounts, payment methods. Silent campaign. Emails ordering witness elimination. Video. Secret meeting. Hidden footage of Collier and 5 elites signing off on the sale of public assets. Gateway. A PDF named Shetpim Q2223. Jasmine opened the last one. Over 200 names, mostly women and minors. Nationalities, U.S., Mexico, Ukraine, Vietnam, Syria. Route, Texas, Mexico, Dubai, Eastern Europe. A detailed map noted as Child Protection Program, sponsored by RC Future Foundation. She scrolled down, a video file. She pressed play, footage, a private boardroom, Collier at the center, behind him, a banner, RC Future Fund. On the table, logistics maps, shipping manifests. His voice, calm, controlled, no attempt to hide. 300 a quarter is too low, raise it. The Balkans won't trace it. Banner stood frozen. Jasmine didn't move, but her eyes burned with fury. She grabbed every file, compressed them, started a new email. Recipients, Federal Department of Justice, International Human Rights Watch. Every major newsroom in the country. Independent investigative journalists. Subject, the crimes of Richard Collier, Georgia Senate candidate. Body, I used to be a cop, now I'm a witness. She hovered over the button. Click, email sent. She removed the USB, set it on the ground, reached into her bag, pulled out a hammer. No words. Smash. Metal shattered. Fragments scattered. They've killed people over a single email. I just sent more than 200. Savannah was no longer quiet. Headlines flooded every screen. Richard Collier, Georgia Senate candidate, indicted on federal charges. Over 200 leaked files expose crimes of money laundering by already known who can come up bribery and trafficking. Who brought down one of the most powerful men in state politics? CNN, Fox, BBC, Reuters, all were showing Richard Collier, but not on campaign ads this time, on lists of criminal indictments. Social media exploded. I can't believe this. He used to hug children during fundraisers. Disgusting. Was it her, the suspended cop, Reed? No answer. No one claimed it. No face stepped into the spotlight. Only the truth, standing tall, needing no defense. That night, top floor of the Granimont Hotel, Savannah's most luxurious venue. A high-profile gala hosted in honor of Richard Collier's final campaign push. Crystal chandeliers, champagne, gowns in gold. And at the center, Richard Collier, a gray tailored suit, red silk tie, white pressed shirt, and the same polished political smile. He took the stage. Cameras flashed. Applause thundered. Ladies and gentlemen, Georgia needs bold leadership, and I am that leader. Boom. The ballroom doors flew open. A federal tactical team stormed in, armed, precise, without hesitation. Silence crashed into the room. Music stopped. Glasses dropped. A woman screamed. The governor froze mid-sip. Leading the team, Lieutenant Samuel Banner. He walked straight through the crowd, his expression cut from stone. Richard Collier, you are under arrest under federal indictment for bribery, money laundering, human trafficking, obstruction of justice, and operating a transnational criminal enterprise. The room shattered. A senator ducked away. A tech CEO covered his face. An aide turned off her phone camera. Too late. Collier staggered backward. His face drained white. A vein on his neck pulsed like it was about to explode. No, this is a setup. You can't do this to me. I'm Richard Collier. Banner stepped forward. His voice didn't rise, but it didn't need to. The last time you stood on a stage, you were auctioning off lives. Click, handcuffs snapped shut. Cameras exploded with light. The arrest was streamed across 12 countries, trending on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube within minutes. Collier was escorted off stage, his $3,000 shoes dragging across a red carpet that no longer belonged to him. Still shouting, but no one was listening anymore. A few blocks away, in a quiet cafe, Jasmine Reed sat alone, gray hoodie, black coffee, eyes steady, watching the rain outside. The TV in the corner showed Collier being dragged away in cuffs. At the next table, 2 women whispered, "Who did that?" "The email. Who sent it?" "Nobody knows, but whoever did, it changed everything." Jasmine didn't smile. She didn't speak. She took another sip. It was bitter, but it tasted like justice. Next morning, Savannah Police Department. No fanfare, no medals, just Jasmine Reed walking through the front door. The moment she entered, the room fell silent. No laughter, no whispers. Just looks, different now. Not dismissive, not amused, respectful, and maybe ashamed. Lieutenant Carter, the man who once mocked her, stepped forward. He stood tall, shoulders back, eyes lowered. "Reed, if anyone deserves to be here, it's you." She didn't respond. She didn't slow down. She just walked past. Outside the chief's office, Banner was waiting. He didn't offer a speech, just a nod. "Welcome back." She nodded back, her face calm. No tears, no celebration. She walked to her old desk, sat down, booted up her computer. No spotlights, no applause, no headlines. Just a woman doing what's right because she still could sleep at night. Some people spend their whole lives trying to make history. She just wanted to live with her conscience. And somewhere, buried in her junk folder, an email appeared. No sender, no address. Only a subject line. Collier wasn't the only one.